President Biden facing criticism today after speaking first about a spending bill up on Capitol Hill and then Afghanistan during his speech we brought you yesterday. Today, the president had a new focus, and it wasn't the U.S. withdrawal as the race to meet his self-imposed August 31st deadline quickly approaches. White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us from the North Lawn with that. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, Brett. Officials here like to boast that right now the Pentagon is pulling off what may be the largest airlift in history. But there have been several critical days of this operation that the commander-in-chief hasn't wanted to talk about it as the world watches.
I've made this a priority for my administration from the outset.
He was talking about cybersecurity. No talk about Afghanistan policy, aside from this punchline.
Mr. President, if Americans are still in Afghanistan after the deadline, what will you do?
You'll be the first person I'll call.
So what's so funny?
Of course it's a very important question. These are incredibly serious issues, and there are discussions that are happening internally.
As the clock ticks towards a final flight out of Kabul, the president's focus on domestic issues, including the Build Back Better agenda last night, is worrying some critics.
He was wasting precious time this week, burning the phones up, pressuring Democrats to vote for a $5 trillion spending bill and tax bill. That's what he was wasting time on. Every minute of his days should be getting all Americans out.
The top Democrat in Congress still backs Biden.
The judgment about leaving is about judgment that the president has made. I trust his judgment.
Republicans, including some who served, don't.
But we are on the cusp, Harris, of having the biggest mass hostage situation in American history. It's going to make 1979 in Tehran look like a sleepover.
After the president's deadline to leave, the Taliban may remain U.S. partners.
If it makes good on its commitments to allow people who want to leave Afghanistan to leave, that's a government we can work with.
But that could conflict with a long-standing foreign policy tradition.
Why haven't we heard the president say the United States does not negotiate with terrorists? Is that still the U.S. policy?
Well, of course it is, Peter, but I would also say that there's a reality that the Taliban is currently controlling large swaths of Afghanistan. That is a reality on the ground.
So they say they don't negotiate with terrorists. What they do is they have active discussions with the Taliban. And officials claim they haven't given anything to Taliban leaders. They don't see this as a quid pro quo. But nobody around here has been able to say what is going to happen after the U.S. leaves and the Taliban starts stopping Afghans who helped the U.S. want to leave too, from leaving too. Brett?
Big question. Peter Doocy, live on the North Lawn. Peter, thanks.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.